Ho, ho, yo, hee, ho, ho, hum. Yeah, that's the way it feels every day. This could all go horribly wrong at any minute. Hello, and welcome to the 215th edition of Louis Black's Rantcast, entitled, Oh, Canada. Yes, Oh, Canada. And I'm almost filled with such giddiness and joy that I'd love to sing it for you, but I don't know the words, and you wouldn't listen, and you'd be disturbed, and it would just be wrong. It would be really enough. They've been besmirched, a word rarely used by myself, certainly in public, but they would be besmirched by my interpretation as if they haven't been besmirched enough. And in order for complete transparency, I didn't purchase it on my trip that I'm just back from Oh, Canada. This shirt that I'm wearing is from Canada. I purchased it there, and there was no tariffs at the time, really, and it's a wonderful piece of clothing, and I couldn't be happier with it. And I couldn't be happier than to have spent from last Thursday till yesterday, a chunk of it in Canada. In Canada, yes, I had crossed the border, the largest border in the world, the largest extended border in the world, continuous border in the world, and the largest, most peaceful continuous border in the world. Peaceful until if he fucks this up, if the boss, he is the only one, okay, in that I remember in my lifetime or hearing anyone say, or did you ever say, boy, those Canadians are fucking us, huh? They are really screwing us over. That's the reason things are going to hell here. Oh, man, they are fucking with our car industry. We got to tariff them. They've been getting away with it. Stop it. Huh? Stop it. Enough's. So look, I've said enough's enough about 1,000 times. The fact of the matter is 10% of American cars are made in Canada, okay? I don't think it's going to make a big deal. What it does by going back and forth with what we need from them and what we need to get over to them, what we need from them and what we get from them, and what we send to them. It goes back and forth. It goes back and forth. I realized I mucked that up, but it's hard to. The fact that I even have to do this, all right? Because we do something, they do something, they just send it back, and we send it back, and that's the way it's been working, and that's why the cars are really, and they're not cheap, but they're cheaper than they're going to be with tariffs on them, and so this is ludicrous for 10%, because he's going to bring all of that car industry back here, and all of the things that need to be made back here can grab it from them, because they're making it, they are screwing us out of some cold, hard cash. Huh? What about the union that we've formed, these two countries have formed over time? What about the influence the Canadians have in terms of something that, that there's sense of kindness, there's sense of really, neighborliness, which we do have, and I think we do below this. The state level, and even below the city level, there's those folks who live by each other. There's a sense of that. Well, I performed in Toronto and I performed in Montreal, and I have to say, going up there, there was a lightness of being there. Yes, a lightness of being. Okay, and it was much lighter than it is to be here, where every day I feel like you wake up, you pick up your phone, or I do, I pick up a newspaper, I pick up a newspaper. That's the way I like to. I'm sorry, I'm addicted to that. And as long as they're there, I'll be looking at them. And then I check some stuff on the phone during the day. Sometimes they catch some stuff in a more complete way the next day, but sometimes they're behind. But it's wonderful to read. But I wake up reading our newspapers, and there's just that kind of sound, the soundtrack from The Wizard of Oz, from the monkeys, or the yo hee ho ho ho, yo hee ho ho hum. Yeah, that's the way it feels every day out in America. I'd gone from playing in Florida to playing in Canada, and the difference was stunning. I had some very good nights in Canada, and this is really a big transition in terms of my act, because this is the fourth time I've had to change it. And the big difference performing there was they don't bring any shit to the table. They don't bring any kind of nonsense of where they are politically, be it Democrat or Republican, for Christ's sake. Okay? They don't. They've watched us, all right? I don't have to kind of set up the jokes there. They already get that the funny is coming, all right? Why? Because they've been watching. So when I say just a few words, they're already on top of it. They're all ready. They're all ready to go. The setup is already in them. Okay? Down there, it's like I got to build a whole thing up to get to the point of here comes the joke. And then it's, in Canada, I don't face somebody in the audience saying, but we didn't come here for politics. Well, I don't know who you thought you were seeing. And I don't do politics. It's social. And stupidity. All right? There are flashes of it. Okay? But it's certainly not dwelled on. And it's certainly about the stupidity of what the fuck is happening. Okay? So Canada knows it. But down in Florida, many of the folks, it was, oh boy, politics isn't funny. I heard that, but that was the reason I at first couldn't get on the Letterman show. God in heaven, all right? But Canada has watched us, and you know what they think we are? They think we're out of our fucking minds. And when a good neighbor, and some with a real solid reputation, very solid, takes a good look at you and says, wow, what the fuck's going on? What, why are you nuts? Okay. And that I'm going up there in part, whether people liked it or not, on Twitter and whatever other places they showed up, because I rarely read some of the comments anymore because they're not fun. No sense of humor. Boy, you don't need to apologize. Somebody has to. Okay. And that's part of the reason I went up. I was really wanted to perform. But part of my mission in performing was to apologize from the very beginning, from the opening of my act, because somebody has to. And we've sent nobody from the Democrats has gone up there that I know of, and nobody in the audience seemed to know of, to apologize, okay, for what has been going on in terms of here and its effect on what's going on there. And the rest of the world, as they watch us spin like tops that are out of control, idiots. We're like, we're literally at moments within a week, if you revved everything up, we look like those last moments of anxiety before it completely, when it was spinning around and inside out too. Yeah, I'm making a reference to that. What the hell? And because that's pumping through most of our veins at this point. Not in Canada. You pick up a newspaper there. You don't read the boss's name on the front page. It's not there. It's not there haunting those people. Okay? It's not haunting the Canadians like he haunts us every day. I'm going to do this. We're going to do that. Quack, quack, honk, honk. And so I just was thrilled to be there. Wander the streets and also to have great joy in performing for them. And it was just terrific. And if you've not been there, now's a great time to go. I'm serious. And learn the difference between us and them. Okay? Because it's a big difference. Okay? They seem to kind of, whatever the politics, there seems to be more of a middle there than we have had here in years. All right? Because they seem to care a lot more. They seem to get it. They seem to think, they seem to understand that mean is not a political stance. All right? Being mean, being vicious, being really kind of money hungry is really, are they money hungry? Yeah. Do I need to go into it? No, I'm not gonna. Eventually I will stumble on 1,000 threads as we roll toward to the 250th down the road Rantcast. I'm sure I will get that across to you. All right. We'll be seeing it. It's gotten way too greedy. Okay. When you've got a billion gazillionaire standing next to the president who on the front page today is expected to make billions off of SpaceX, billions, while he's advising him about government and its controls. Oh my, so they can save them and the money and get people out of Social Security, which is happening so that people, some of them aren't getting their checks on time anymore. Okay. And that's the deal. And, but Canada takes care of its people. They have a great, I wouldn't say that it's a great healthcare system, but it's a better health insurance system. Why? Because they don't have to pay for shit. All right. I just came from, and I was in sticker shock. And I know that people have to go through this, but I just came from the pharmacy and it was $312 for a monthly pill that I may need. And I have to try it out for a month. 312. And I'm really lucky that my doctor had found a bunch of samples so I can get through the month and not have to pay that. And people shouldn't. I shouldn't, and people shouldn't have had to pay what they were paying for insulin, and they shouldn't have to pay for a lot of drugs on the level that they're paying for them. It's just beyond disgusting. All right, I can afford it, but there are a lot of people who can't. I mean, a ton of people who can't. But boy, it was so nice to be there. Just so nice. Go to Toronto, cleanest city I've been in. As they keep saying, you can eat off the sidewalks there, and it's kind of it's just a great urban. It's a great testament to living in an urban environment. Wonderfully done, and then Montreal is just an escape. It's like being in Europe, yeah, and it's wondrous, and the food there's exceptional. And if you're there, don't do what I did, which is miss the poutine, which I love. We have it here, but it's not the same. They know what they're doing. They crafted it. There's 2,000 forms of it now, and the smoked meat. And I blew it. I was too busy with trying to prep my act, and which, as I said, keeps changing. So I had to be on top of it. But it was just important for me to be there. I really, if you're going to Toronto, you're going to want to, if you're there, either if you can get in and take a good look at Massey Hall, it's kind of there as my opening act, an extraordinary comic, Mike Wilmot, said. It's kind of their Carnegie Hall. It's literally one of the top 5 venues I played. It was one of the reasons I really wanted to get back there. That because I wanted to play that venue again. It's why some of you were yelling, "Why are you taking something? Why aren't you retiring?" Because I wanted to be sure that I had those 2 on my schedule, and the earliest I could get out there was March, and I will have to make up some dates in August. But it was just great to be in that room again. Just splendid. And they've fixed it up, which was a little disappointing because it used to feel like before it was redone, it felt like I was performing in a Catholic high school gym, which is, being Jewish, it was really just a great moment for the first time I was there, and the second and the third. And it was nice to get back there again. And Montreal had to get back to, because really it was important to my career. And I neglect to say that, but from time to time, but because of Just for Laughs. And it helped put me on the map, and helped me get found. And so it's been, it was really wonderful. And seeing my friend Mike Wilmot and watching him perform. If you've not seen him, go online and catch him at WILMOT, Mike Wilmot. And well worth your time. One of for my money, the funniest guy I know. Kathleen, the funniest woman. Mike, the funniest guy. And he says he's doing less stand-up, which is a pity, because he's just incredibly funny. One of those guys who can find something, you go, how the fuck did he think of that? And great to see him and his family. And the work was good. And I went up there with my old friend, Michael Ritchie, who was the artistic director of the Williamstown Theater Festival, where I was able to work for a number of years. He brought me on to work there, so I was able to act. I was able to support myself because the comedy wasn't paying for everything. It was another way that I could get through the summer and have an income. And it was just terrific, and be able to teach and be able to get the apprentices up there on stage and doing some of the funniest stuff I've seen from rank amateurs, good performers, but they'd not done stand-up before, and that was a gift that I could give them, but it was really the gift they gave me. So it was just a great weekend, and I'm kind of tuckered out, and I've gone on longer than I expected to. But there's a few things I want to share with you, because it's yesterday, because it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It's I will probably be titling next week's. It's one thing goes on every day. It's just like the vitamin, one a day, like the vitamin. That's the title of next week. So tune in. Jeffrey Goldberg, an editor of the Atlantic, a magazine, or whatever it is now. I don't know how these things work. But I think it's still in print form. They had a group chat the other day over our attacking the Houthis in Yemen, put together by Pete Hedgehog, who really didn't have the resume for what he's doing, which is the head of defense, because he's never done anything like that. And he put together this group, and Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor of the Atlantic, somehow was sent out an invitation to this group chat, which was on a non-secure, not a government secure site, a thing called Signal. I'd never heard of it, and just unbelievable. And sat there and listened as they got out their plans for how they were going to attack the Houthis in Yemen. And he thought it was a little odd, maybe just kind of a thing that was maybe fooling, one of those things where you to fake out the Houthis, but no, it happened right afterwards. It happened the next day, everything that they said. And they had on a civilian who writes for the Atlantic, is an editor there, and had been a critic of the administration. And was it true? Yeah, it's true. Because the White House said, yep, they confirmed he'd been on this. And nobody seems to, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Okay? Should he be fired for that? Yeah. That's what I think. All right. He's going to learn this on the job. It's like if you had an open micer who was going to open for you at Madison Square Garden. No, enough's enough. Okay, we can't do this anymore. We're going to see more of it. And I mean it, because a lot of these people don't have the resume for the places they're running, except for maybe whoever it is that's from Joan, whatever her name is, who's running the Department of Education, and she's tearing it down. You don't need to have you don't need anything for that. You don't need a resume for that. You just tear it down. But it was good because she came from the World Wrestling Federation, or whatever they call themselves now. I don't care, I just watch from time to time. But it's really, really quite something that Jeffrey shared it with us, and that then they attack him and don't really deal with the mistake that was made and how they'll deal with it. And then they talk about how secure we are. It's madness. It's madness. Finally, the White House wants to recruit corporate sponsors to contribute to its Easter egg roll next month, raising ethical and legal concerns that President Trump is allowing companies to profit from the 147-year-old tradition by turning it into a showcase for their brands. Corporate sponsors for the Easter egg roll at the White House. Okay? At what point when does the red flag, or the we surrender? We'll just be a big, we're going to marry business and government so that the people are truly never protected again, huh? Because that's what we're watching before our eyes, and we are. I don't know what people think is happening out there, but that's what we're watching. Okay, they're going to marry business to the government. They'll privatize some things too, but that, and then once you protect the rights of the business, fuck the little guy, and that's what they're doing, clubbing all of us like the baby seals we are. It's just beyond belief what's occurring, and that was the other great thing about being Canada, because they are in essence the loyal opposition, because it doesn't exist here. Okay, the people there are people who are speaking out, yes, but basically, like I said last time, the Democrats ain't doing shit. The Republicans are kowtowing, a word also I don't use, to him, and it is stunning that this is all occurring. Stunning that we are going through this. It's obscene. It's insane, not obscene, Lewis. And to give you an idea of this, the financial backers of the April 21st event would be able to choose from 3 options. I mean, they already have it set up. I do benefits, or if you get something in the mail about it, you can get a corporate table for $25,000, et cetera. But the backers would be able to choose from 3 options that cost between $75,000 and $200,000, according to a 9-page guide. 9 pages. We got nothing for how to help, really to make it possible for kids to have a school lunch. And there's that's been kind of cut out. We're scraping the history of, the blacks in the service positions, the gays. We're scraping all of that out. We're getting rid of everything. A lot of history, but by God, we got a 9-page guide for potential sponsors. And the most expensive package includes a corporate booth. Ooh, logo placements, branded snacks or beverages, exclusive tickets to brunch with the First Lady. A chance to engage with the White House press corps. What a joy. And a private White House tour and 150 tickets to the event. Be a part of history. It invites sponsors to provide financial support, activities, and giveaways to enhance the event while gaining valuable brand visibility and national recognition. Wow. Any money raised to the event will go to the White House Historical Association. All right. The event is largely held without taxpayer dollars with the American Egg Board, a marketing group for the egg industry usually. But they didn't get the kind of, I didn't even know they were involved. They didn't get this kind of visibility. It's just amazing. The corporate sponsors for an Easter egg roll. I just wonder, they ask, what would Jesus do? I ask, what would Jesus say? Huh? What would Jesus say about that? Huh? Down in the marketplace. What would he say? The words are hanging in my head and I can't get to them. But that thing that, Jesus, and what would he say? Huh? He would, I hope he shows up there. I hope that's when Jesus decides to come back and deal with this, because now more than ever. Are you kidding me? Yeah, he's a great Christian, really remarkable, our president. And then finally, just because it's here, Social Security cuts phone service for many beneficiaries. Okay? Phone service. The Social Security Administration this week announced a change that can make it harder for many recipients to apply for benefits. From March 31st, people who want to file for benefits or change the bank where their payments will be deposited will no longer be able to do so by phone. Hear that? No longer be able to do so by phone. All right? And must will no longer be able to do this by phone and must first verify their identity online or in person at a field office. The Trump administration said the policy change is needed to combat fraudulent activity, right? Because it's so much less fraudulent online because they can't. The person who might make the call, it's doing the fraud, wouldn't be able to do it online. Are you serious? Huh? Or in person at a field office, maybe there. But how much fraud is taking place? Huh? How much first? Tell us how much that you're taking. Advocates note that many older, like myself, or disabled beneficiaries may struggle with online services or have difficulty in traveling to an office. Dozens of them are being shuttered. Certainly, a lot of them can't get to the office. And certainly a lot of them can't deal with online. And certainly many of them probably don't even know that they can't make the phone call and won't know until they do make the phone call that they didn't get their fucking check. Unbelievable. The new ID system could lead to as many as 85,000 extra in-person visitors a week to field offices, where the average current wait time for an appointment is longer than a month. I've got to repeat these because the level of comedy is so dark that you've got to just keep repeating it until somebody realizes just how insane this is. Wait times could climb even higher if the agency pushes ahead with the announced plan to cut 12% of its workforce, because that's where you need to cut it. Fuck the people who need that check, that basic minimum check that allows them to survive. And there's a lot of people on it. And these assholes pull this shit. But boy, bring in your son of a bitch. Yeah, let's have an Easter egg roll with corporate sponsorships while this is happening. Okay? While those who need it the most get it the least. And that's where we'll end it, because maybe I'll head back. I do know if the weather was better, I'd spend more time up there. And I may spend a little time up there this summer or in the early fall, because it's well worth the trip. Okay, Quebec too. Calgary for the Stampede, Vancouver. It's great. And as I make them the 51st state, bullshit, not under these conditions. They've got 10 provinces. Maybe for a while we could learn something if we just spent time being the 11th province, all right? They're screwing us so badly that our dollar there is worth $1.43, almost $1.50, let's say. Not quite, $1.43 Canadian, all right? If you're there and you spend, I should have known that. The math eluded me there. And it used to be my strong suit. But it's so difficult with these tariffs. I have to juggle things. Yes, sir, boy, are they fucking us. We give them $1 and it's really $1.43. God, okay. Tariffs will even all that out. We'll totally destroy theirs and in the meantime probably drop ours to what theirs is. Okay. What our dollar used to be worth will now be worth what a Canadian dollar is now. And that's the way it is from here. I want to thank everybody, all the folks who came out at Massey Hall in Toronto and Olympia in Montreal. You were terrific, and it was wonderful spending time with you, and I'm sad. One of the great sadnesses is I won't get to put you on a regular schedule anymore. And whether I'll be back, we'll see. Hopefully I'll definitely be back and enjoy my time wandering about there. That's for sure. And maybe pick up a few more shirts. Okay? At the cloakroom. And maybe pick up a few more shirts. Thanks so much, all of you, for the rants you sent in, for watching the Rantcast. And I'll have a little more time now, and we'll see what else we can dig up. And but it's been a privilege and a pleasure, as always, to sit here and be able to talk to you and to read those Rantcasts. They get better and better. Keep sending them in. And thanks. Thanks so much. Here we go from Garret Cheney. Remarks about a play that seems applicable now. Yes, a play. How exciting. And I'm glad to share it with you, because if there's a play you do want to read, this would be an interesting one for the times we're living in. Père Ubu. I try to explain to myself through analogies that this merde has been going on for at least a century. Alfred Jarret's first play, I won't butcher the French, so I'm going to pronounce it the way I did in school. Ubu Roy portrays a self-centered, gluttonous, violent king with no moral base. Sound familiar? Might be too literal for a rant, but let me know that this is nothing new, unfortunately. All hail King Friday the 13th. Fuck Ubu Trump. This comes to us from Garret Cheney. And I thank you for that, Garret. There are so few references to a play or theater that I couldn't be more excited that you sent this in. And it's UBU ROI by Alfred Jarret. For those of you who are looking for for a play that seems applicable. And it was one that when we got to theater school, some folks would sink their teeth into. I could go on, and just really in order so that I feel better about, spending that kind of money going to theater school. As you can see how it turned out, as I sit in my tiny public access studio. Yep, keep going, Lou. Let's go on. From Melvin the Chipmunk, and why not? If we are going to talk about entitlements, let's talk about the mega rich and what they believe they are entitled to. Why do the mega rich think they are fucking entitled to make as much as they fucking like off our planet's natural resources without paying for any of it? Why do the mega rich think they are fucking entitled to tell us how our taxes should be spent when they literally pay no fucking taxes themselves? Trickle-down economics is a metaphor for the rich to do nothing more than to fucking piss over the rest of us. Come on, people, get off your fucking lounge chairs and stand up to these selfish, sniveling fucking brats. Okay, Melvin. Spring's coming, so I'll see you hopping around. Ooh, I can't believe I said that. I'm reading these earlier than I should. But I think they at least pay somewhat for the natural resources that they use. What I kind of feel is that, being in a country like this, they've been given a whole ton of stuff that they would have nowhere else. And, for all their yelling, it's the most government welfare, I think, kind of goes to business. But check on that, because I don't have the time or the energy. It just instinctively, I believe that, much like Melvin thinks they're not paying for natural resources. Here we go. From Kirk Winters. Hegseth closes Pentagon office focused on future wars. It's called the Office of Net Assessment, and it helps our top defense leaders think about the future of war. It has a dozen civilians and military officers, has often had an outsized impact on how the Pentagon prepares for possible conflicts. Its budget is $10 to $20 million a year out of the budget of the Pentagon's, which is $850 billion. A spokesman for the Pentagon suggested that the office would be restructured and then reopened with a new focus on the country's most pressing national security challenges. He did not explain how the office's new mission would differ from its previous approach. From Kirk Winters, Sarasota, Florida, where I was just at. Thank you, Kirk. And I kind of turned your words around there a little. I'm sorry if that upset you, but I pretty much got it all in the way you wanted it, I believe. Of course, he didn't explain about how the office's new mission would differ because it might get weirder. A security challenge, although it may sound like a conflict, it may, they're doing some things in terms of what they believe to be our security, which is, they don't seem to be dealing with the law. That's all. And so this will give them $10 to $20 million to sneak around and look at stuff. No, of course they won't. Not them. No. Not Peter Hegseth. All righty, let's keep going. I'm a little too pensive. I've been thinking about this stuff way too much. This comes from Adeline Green. Salutations, Mr. Black. I am Adeline, and I'm submitting a rant for thy Rantcast. Okay, here I go. Fuck the fucking government. Trying to remove trans people in a genocide? As a trans female, I'm sick and tired of people trying to remove me and my fellow trans people. We are people and have the right to be people. Fuck all of this protecting children bullshit. All they want is to control and strip rights away from people who they think are lesser than. Someday they will atone for their hatred and bigotry. Anyway, thanks for giving me the time of day. And thanks, Adeline, for sharing. It needed to be said, and I'm glad you said it. And I know it's a rough road for you to hoe, and I'm sorry for that. It's ridiculous. At this point, you think we get through this, and then we go back 20 steps. I mean, we can see it well. I appreciate it. I appreciate your anger, and I thank you for sharing that with everyone out there who I think will hear it. Let's hope so. From Karen Gotlieb, who came down to Sarasota, and what the fuck, Sarasota? I came here a couple of days before your show to explore Sarasota, and there are very few street signs at intersections in the downtown area. How are you supposed to know where you are? Huh? I'm wandering around downtown looking for places, holding out my iPhone, okay, like a beacon, with Google Maps telling me where to go and a screen that is way too small to figure out where you are. And the Google Maps app eats up way too much battery power. Why? Why doesn't Sarasota have better signage? Don't they want visitors? Well, in the defense of Sarasota, Karen, you have to remember they were hit by this hurricane. So this past hurricane, or the hurricane that hit them, I can't remember the name of it. They just keep kind of coming along. And there were two that hit Florida last year. That could be the reason. But I think it was good for you to get it off your chest. Thanks for sharing, Karen. It's a pleasure for me to share this rant from Tony Poenessa with you, because it's truly a pet peeve of mine. And it was just a while here. Who the fuck are the idiots that designed, reviewed, and decided it's a good idea to sell underwear without a peehole? What the fuck? These fuck my day, every fucking day, from November through March. Most of the assholes up here wear 2 shirts when it's cold out. I am so fucking pissed off as I write this. Fuck! Every fucking time I go into the bathroom to take a fucking piss, I have to pull the top of my underwear down to do so. To make it worse, I usually wait too fucking long and end up quickly walking to the bathroom. What makes this such a fucking pain in the ass is before you can drop your drawers, you have to find the bottom of your fucking tucked-in shirt. They are both fabric. So the only way to find the bottom of my fucking shirt is to pull on any fabric in the area. And by then, there are other assholes in the urinal line as I'm pulling underwear and shirts out of my zipper. And of course, I'm dancing from foot to foot because I'm about to let go. Fucking assholes I work with had videoed it and played it at the fucking Christmas party. Fuck. Has this been hard? Try it sometimes. It fucking sucks. And at minimum, your fucking hands will be wet. I lost a few words there, Tony, but you certainly got the thought through, and it's insane. I don't know why. What I'd like to know is why. You know, on the packaging, this has no peehole up. And here's why. An explanation for maybe somebody out there, Tony, can help us understand this. There's probably somebody who likes it. If you do, send along your defense of the underwear without the peehole. Fucking assholes I work with have videoed it and played it at the fucking Christmas party. Usually I'm trying to free up the only fucking urinal in the... God, I wish I knew what those words were, Tony. Let me know. Steve O. Louis, I can remember when garbage trucks were loud and cars were quiet. Anybody driving a loud car knew they were driving a piece of shit. It was embarrassed by it. Now people are removing their perfectly functional quiet mufflers and stupidly spending money to replace them with the most annoying, obnoxious piece of shit that they can buy. What they are desperately trying to tell us is, look at me. I have a really tiny dick. We can hear you, tiny dick guy, coming from miles away. You can't intimidate, bully, or harass anybody with your tiny dick, so you have to do it this way. You just love to wake everybody up with your tiny dick and your loud engine at 2 a.m. We will now have a hard time falling back asleep for the 3rd fucking time in one night because we are praying that you will die. Then we can finally get a decent night's sleep without being woke up every time you or one of your tiny dick club members drive by. Our country's already having a hard time getting a good night's rest with all the bullshit politics going on. You're only making it worse. Your car sounds like a loud fart, and it's driven by an asshole. Karma's a bitch. I hope you never rest in peace, tiny dick guy. Thank you, Steve-O, for sharing what is obviously something that really bothers you. And I don't know where you're living that they're rolling by at 2 a.m. with their tiny dicks, but hopefully Karma's going to get him. It drives me nuts. I've been down in Florida as well as in New York every so often for no reason. None at all. None. On the highway too. Just madness. From Linda H. Lewis, thank you for coming to Jacksonville on the final tour. I wish you nothing but good health, thank you, and happiness as you transition to the next phase of your career. But a word on that good health part. If you feel yourself getting ill while in the Sunshine State, I'm going to suggest that you cross the state line or two before seeking help. You see, as someone who is over 25, not married, and without minor children, Florida healthcare professionals are not held accountable if they contribute to your death. It's called the free kill law. That's right. There are no legal or monetary consequences if they kill you. People like you and me have absolutely no value here. No one can file a malpractice claim if we've been victimized by incompetent medical professionals because we don't have a spouse or kids. It's mind-boggling. They could negligently kill a widowed grandma without consequence. But if the same happened to be an abusive spouse, then there would be a price to pay. Wow. So if our pollen suffocates you, our sun fries your flesh, or an alligator attacks, I recommend seeking care somewhere that values all human life. Well put, Linda H. I cannot believe, what am I saying? I can't believe it. So if you don't have a spouse or children, nothing is up. It's unbelievable. But you've got your own family. There are people that you care about that it's just okay. No, keep working, bad doctor. God. Wow. I appreciate that. I'm reading this from Deborah D'Amico. I hope I got that right, Deborah. Because she's a teacher, and I want to give teachers a voice whenever I can, and they truly need to get a lot off their chest now. Yes, sirree. You want the ultimate meltdown from a middle school history teacher who has spent years teaching kids about democracy, checks and balances, and the Constitution, only to watch Donald Trump set it all on fire like a bonfire made of pocket constitutions? Well, here it comes. I've been teaching history and civics for years. I've explained checks and balances. I've taught kids how laws work, how elections function, how the president isn't a king, and how the Constitution matters. I made them learn it. I made them think about it. I made them write critically about it. And then Trump comes back in 2025 and makes me a goddamn liar. I told my students, no one is above the law. Trump skips out on trials, calls judges bias, and gets his people to defy subpoenas like it's a sport. I told my students we have peaceful transfers of power. Trump literally tried to overthrow the government on January 6th, then came back and started purging federal employees like he's rebooting his own damn government with loyalists. I told my students, we value the truth in this country. Trump spits out more lies in a single rally than my students do when I ask why they didn't do their work. I told my students the Constitution is the foundation of our democracy. Trump says we should just terminate it if it gets in his way, then starts issuing orders that only he and his attorney general can interpret the law. You know who else did that? Dictators. I told my students elections are fair and votes count. Trump, still whining about 2020 and was ready to pull it again if needed in 2024 like a Vegas slot machine. How am I supposed to teach civics when the man at the top ignores all of it? How am I supposed to tell kids to believe in our system when he treats it like a used car lot with no rules? And let's talk about how he's been acting like a dictator since day one. Mass firings of Inspector General? Gone. The watchdogs of government accountability? Fired. Because oversight is for suckers. Dismantling the Department of Education? Because why should kids learn actual history when they can just watch Fox News reruns in school? Eliminating foreign aid? Because nothing says world leader like turning your back on the world's most vulnerable. Attacks on the arts? Because heaven forbid the National Endowment for the Arts supports anything that isn't a golden Trump statue. Overriding legal interpretations, because apparently the rule of law now depends on whether Trump and his cronies feel like following it. And you know what's worse? They notice. These kids aren't stupid. They come in saying, but Trump did this, but Trump said that. And what am I supposed to say? You're right, kid. Everything I taught you is apparently optional now. I'm exhausted. I am done. I'm ready to just show Schoolhouse Rock and let the songs teach them, because clearly nothing matters anymore. But I can't retire yet, Louis, because I'm on year 29 at age 55, and my state pension is invested in the crapshoot that is the stock market. Hey, at least when I'm 59 and a half, I might be able to get my hands on some of it to pay off my college loans. Because the public service loan forgiveness, which gives you credit for 120 months of payments when I decided to get my second master's degree. And if one more person tells me, oh, but this is just how politics works, I swear to God, I will throw a pocket constitution at their face so hard it will leave an imprint. Because this is not normal. This is not how a functioning democracy works, and I refuse to sit here and let someone flush everything I have taught down the toilet. I need a drink, or maybe just a break from reality. Because if I see one more active proof of his dictatorship on day one, I might just start teaching history from the moon. Or is that Elon's now too? Deborah, I want to thank you for that. I know we could talk about what's, where you've kind of gone off the rails with your anger in terms of some of the things you said. And there'll be people who say, well, that's not really true. Doesn't matter if it's really true. You're venting at this point, and you just need to get it off your chest. And I'm really glad you shared it, and you obviously needed to, and I don't know how. What's amazing is you're teaching civics. That's not happening in a lot of places. So there's nobody even with their finger in the dike. You've done it. You've certainly deserved credit. Christopher Scweitzer on pizza. What in God's name is so important about having the most number of cheeses on a pizza? Jesus Christ. I remember when I was a kid, and I had my first 3-cheese pizza with provolone and Parmesan in addition to the traditional mozzarella. Then I started seeing 4 cheese, 5 cheese, even 6 fucking cheeses now. But what really pisses me off is that more and more they use cheddar. Cheddar has no place on a pizza or any Italian-American food. In the frozen pizza aisle, I can't find a single cheese pizza that has just 1 cheese. Fucking mozzarella. This has gone too far, Louis. Cheddar is a fine cheese with many great applications, but please, people, keep it off the pizzas. And stop upping the number of cheeses you use to make what should be a simple, delicious dish into an assault on my taste buds. Christopher Scweitzer. Oh, man. That was well put. I'm not a 3-cheese pizza man, Christopher, so I can see how you feel like they're coming at you. And, and more is better. It's always better. But cheddar on a pizza, But there are people doing that now. Okay, there's novelty pizza places opening up. So stick to the traditional, Christopher, just so that your blood pressure remains somewhat around normal. Emmy Manuel is sharing with us today. Shampoo. Who went to the beach, got tar all over themselves, their clothes, their car, everything, and thought, I bet this awful sticky mess would be great for washing my hair. But that is exactly what is in most dandruff shampoo. Check the active ingredients. Tar. But setting aside the insanity of trying to wash our hair with tar, that's just dandruff shampoo. Check the ingredients in most shampoo. Sulfur. Have you ever smelled sulfur? Sulfur? It smells like rotten eggs. I used to take my kids decades ago to a water park, really just a big pond with a slide and a zip line that resulted from drilling. The place stank to high heaven. Not once did I think, no need to wash my hair after that. Whose idea was it to clean our hair with sulfur and tar? Why do most of us go along with this insanity? And while we're on the subject, what is dry shampoo? Who had this genius idea? Who said, gee, my hair sure is dirty, but I don't want to waste any water. I know. I'll put a strange powdery substance all over it. That'll clean it. No. Your hair is even dirtier than before because you didn't wash out the grime that was there. You just added whatever the fuck was in that scam of a product called dry shampoo. Why? In conclusion, shampoo is a scam. Dry shampoo, doubly so. Tar shampoo, triply so. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. It's why you got to read the labels now. It's exactly why you got to do it. I should look in here, I know. It's why you should read those labels. And I'm glad you did, Amy. I wouldn't have known that. I use a perfectly remarkable shampoo that has no tar or sulfur. And I've never used dry shampoo because, like you, I've never under-fucking-stood it. Thanks again. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcast.